Shalom. First, I can start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and apostles of great millstone, likewise, brothers, spill out this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep with you, brothers and sisters. Tuning in, Shalom. Today's lesson's titled, War is in Their Heart. Now, people out in the world would disagree and say, no, the economy improving, placing people in jobs is in the heart, of the oppressor, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. But we can see from the daily news that that's not the case. Let's go into the scriptures here. This is the book of Psalms 140, start verse 1, and it reads, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Deliver me, O Lord, Yahweh Shai, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man. And who comes to mind when you think of the word violent? It's the so-called white man. And we have a sitting president that is demonstrating why the scripture called this man the violent man, the man of evil, the son of perdition, which imagine mischief in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war. This is all they think about. Since this man has been sitting in the wicked chair, all he talks about is going after Jakes. All he talks about is going after this country and that country, this tribe, this nation. Constant war. And we know about the history of the United States of America, that it has been at war for 92% of its existence. They have the spirit of war. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent, adders poisonous under their lips. Selah. Keep me, O Lord, Yahweh Shai, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who have proposed to overthrow my goings. What do you see going on right now? Trump is sending troops over there in Chicago, and the videos are going around with these YNs talking about they're a different breed. You're not a different breed, and I'm not even going to justify foolishness from little boys, to even make a lesson on it, because they're going to get slaughtered, and that's just it, and they deserve it. But this is going to be spread across these cities, and all of this is what you would do if you're a man of war, which the so-called white man is. He likes fighting, he likes blood. Is to strategically place your pawns, which are these soldiers, all across Great Babylon, America, strategic points, so that when the calling begins, there will really be no escape. So we pray to Yahweh Shai, to keep us, aware of the devious things that this man is plotting to do. And the way you stay as a watchman is you look at the headlines. You scroll through the different headlines online. You look at the videos that the brothers are putting up. You have these other media, they call them alternative media, that put out reports concerning what the plans are of this bloody man, because certainly the media that they control is not going to tell you exactly what it is that they really plan to do, but we know in their heart is war. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 6, down verse 4, and you can see here, this is you heard the saying, recipe for disaster. And what you're going to see here is a three-pronged approach. And of course, the Lord Yahweh Shai is controlling all of this. But we can see that Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man, is spearheading this. It says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. What do you see? All you see is global conflict, domestic wars, global wars. You have wars in Venezuela going on right now, Gaza, Ukraine. And we know they're going after Venezuela for that oil. Well, if you Google it, Venezuela has a humongous amount of oil reserve. They're fighting Russia in a proxy war, and we just seen the devastation left behind when the so-called white man, using his CIA operatives, go into these countries and have the people turn on each other, because they're able to pay certain unscrupulous people, that American money to, destroy their own habitat, which makes no sense. But we can see how he operates. It says, and when he opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. I mean, there's so many videos right now where people are just complaining about the hardship that they're experiencing, with hyperinflation, poverty all across Great Babylon, America. And the faces that we're seeing mostly right now is these Edomites. Okay, but while the world will look at that as, some type of socio-economic downfall, we look at it from the scriptures of, from the perspective of Deuteronomy 30:7. The curses are now coming on these people. Okay, and that's why we bring it out, because we're very happy about it. Okay, it says, and when he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed with him. Hell is a condition. Okay, it's not some fiery lake. Okay, and it says, and power was given unto them, over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. And this is what we are getting ready to see right now. All of it is happening. You have the wars that's going on globally, domestically. You get a spiritual war that's going on. Okay, you have hyperinflation. People are catching hell. Homeless on a level that, wow, is it fixable? Okay. And what you can have here is those pestilence and the death from the famine, and just, people becoming very unhinged. Okay. And it's all happening all at once. Let's go into the book of Ecclesiastes 14 and verse 5, because you still have our people still clinging on to Great Babylon, America. They're still clinging. They don't think that they're going to get caught up in this. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He should not take pleasure in his goods. There's none worse than he that envied himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. Okay, it's clash between these crackers, man. Come on. All right, because they all want to get their strategic, set up. Okay, Democratic versus the Republicans, and caveman versus caveman, and this is what you see going on right now. Don't pay no attention to the niggas and spicks, that they have set up as mayors and governors or whatever the hell it is. They're just worthless pawn. They're just being used so the real target, who is us, don't rise up earlier. When Jake see a so-called black man or black woman, or Latino man or Latino woman, in position of authority, so to speak, that gives them that hope, that continuous hope. Okay, so they're comfortable being servants, being slaves. It says, and if he do it good, he do it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness, which is what Esau always does. We see his wickedness all the time. So they were bringing them over the border, and now they're freaking putting them in cage. Go figure, man. It's the same thing. Okay, doesn't matter. All right. Okay, left wing, right wing is still attached to the same wicked bird, man, because it's just one head. Okay, that has 2 eyes and a mouth. It's the same thing. All right. This is Psalms 10, and verse 8. And it reads, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places of the murder the innocent. His eyes are privy set against the poor. What do you think these executive orders are? What do you think the Oval Office is? Someone read that, they'll think like, man, there's some white dude sitting in a cave or sitting behind some building underneath a old box or whatever the case is, like that, plotting. Like, nah. They put the camera right on the doggone devil himself, and he sits down and go, I'm going to sign this executive order. Okay, he gets it from the elites. And these executive orders is against us. It says he lied and wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lied and wait to catch the poor. He does catch the poor when he drawed him in his den. But then Biden bring everybody over here. Hey, come over here, man. We're going to give you asylum, all this other stuff. And pretty much he barely got out of office 3 weeks. And now Jake's them running for their lives. They just had a video showing this woman, supposedly, I don't know if it's real or not, at the Hyundai plant out there in Georgia. She running, man, hiding for a couple hours, okay? And this is what's going on right now, Okay, and this is going to get worse. We're just in the beginning of this. It says, when he draweth it in his net, he crusheth and humbled himself that the poor may fall by his strong ones. Now, if you didn't know any better, if you didn't know Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, was a devil, boy, when they speak, boy, they're smooth. Trump is smooth. I mean, Trump is smooth. Trump get game. Okay, and Biden, you know, he might have been an old dirty guy like that, but they all have their showed out there how they have to act, man. Okay, and you fall for it because if you have yourself in your mind and your spirit invested in the great Babylon America, you're not going to see the sword coming for you. You're not going to. Let's close with the book of 2nd Ezra 15 and start at verse 13, because this is what we're seeing. This is already here. They that till the ground shall mourn, for the sea shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful consolation. So people are putting up videos, some of them working 2, 3 jobs and can't make ends meet, can't even live in a place. Okay, well, you know, hey, welcome to the life and the hell that a lot of brothers have gone through. You know, and this is during a time when the economy was beautiful in the 1990s and the early 2000s, while you people, you know, was doing whatever the hell you was doing. You didn't see this coming. All right, so now you're caught up in it. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draw it nigh. One people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. It defies the mind. It really defies the mind that there are people, they don't read the headlines. They have no clue what's going on, and nor do they care. Not because you don't want to read bad news means that it's not going to take place. It's happening. I got a neighbor get their house door open, their garage open, and they get nice cars and all kinds of stuff, and they don't have a fear of what's to come. But I'm reading it right now, what's about to take place, or what's taking place, but it's going to get to another level. It says for the sword and the destruction draw it nigh. One people should stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. Of course, it's going to be global, but this is really going to be something that's going to be taking place domestically. For there should be sedition amongst men, and debating one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand their power. Don't be surprised if a lot of the National Guard service members defect. Take a look at the troops. A lot of them look like Jakes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, man. Okay, wearing that doggone monkey suit. I'm trying to figure out how long they can stand for stomping their own people into the ground, or watching, you know, their counterpart Edomite service members who are going to be gladly stomping Jakes into the ground. Okay, you know, they're obeying that lawful order, so to speak, from the commander in chief. How long they can stand to that? So it ain't gonna be long before you see people defecting from the active duty military forces, the reserve forces, and start fighting against them. And you know, it's all hell is about to break loose, man. Okay, it's going to take place. Not to mention the amount of people out here who are trained, who have been trained, okay, and you know, who are self-trained, so to speak. They're ready to go all out. There are people with that mentality, like, look here, man, I'd rather die on my feet, so to speak. That's what they have their mentality as. It says, a man shall desire to go in a city and should not be able. They're not going to go, because you see right now Trump is sending troops all over the place. So what you're going to see is just chaos, death. For because of their pride in the city should be troubled, and the houses should be destroyed, and men should be afraid. I like how it says men should be afraid. It didn't even say anything about women. That's obvious. But men should be afraid. Why? You're going to be afraid when you don't know who's in control of all of the violence and things that's taking place in this earth. It's Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He's controlling everything. Of course, we can go into the scripture that talks about how he's going to protect the elect. So we're not concerned about it. We had a hope for the elect. We're not concerned. We want to see it. Okay? I want to see the smirk wipe off these doggone idiots' face. Okay? I want to see the tough guy with the music blaring and shit driving by the camps every doggone week. You know, looking at you like you some shitbag on the side road. I want to see how brave you are in those days. Okay? And they go wonder why a shorty like me laughing my ass off at your ass. And I ain't lending a hand. Lord willing, you keep your ass on a different path. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Keep in mind, bread can mean money. Okay, but it's really resources. Tribulation, trouble, man. People are going to be jacking each other up. So all these like nice houses around here, yeah, it'll be open season, man. Open season, okay? The strangest thing is that people are actually now starting to build privacy fence or closing up their house. So I think they might be aware that something is about to go down and they're trying to prepare themselves or fortify themselves. But there it is. Okay, war is in their heart, not peace. These people don't give a crap about the people here in Great Babylon, America. Oh, well, indeed, like we said, the Father close, but give no glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakdash. Shalom.